So what you gonna do, brother? We about to run wild with a style like no other. So somebody call Brodus Clay mother and tell her Richard runs are the men like Ed Lover and Doc Dre. What Scott say, what they hang on every word like it's something that the Rock say. No JR, but they talking wrestling. We bring the noise with the boys, so we Dalton Castling. So masculine, oozing machismo, mutton chop shop, Gran Turismo. No free throws, snarl hoops and heels. It's D-Bras retirement, give you the super feels. Straight shoot, it's real. Drop a pipe bomb, get ready to bull like the Rock's right arm. So stay calm, tranquilo. I'll go Naito and give him Destino. And we know that you chumps ain't ready for the heartbreak runs and the Cuban Genetti. They drop it heavy, tag team it like Teddy. Long go strong with the heat like Eddie. So steady like when Taker walk the tightrope. Spaz like Taz with the mic in a tight choke. Dirtiest player in the game with the eye poke. 1988 Macho Man on a line of coke. These other cats are a waste, they boring. Illegitimate sons like Jason Jordan. And Richard Runz never give him respect unless they going on air with a broken frickin' neck. So bounce like Papa Pump's pecs. Every time they get down, they bound to catch wreck. Y'all don't know nada, they the Okadas. You're the Washington Generals, they the Globetrotters. A whole lot of podcasts in the scene, but Richard Runz running wild is the cast of your dreams. So it seems these two is too sweet. Bullet Club pulling up with schemes to delete. So retreat, we steal, we cheat, but I never lie, I swear on these beats. And these two got some styles for you, but what you gonna do when they run wild on you?
Oh, hell yeah. It's the Big Dog Red Tires. And you're listening to the Running Wild podcast. Because if you're trying to run wild, this is the place to do it.
Do you want to let everyone know that you get it? Do you not want to be a Melvin? Well, then listen to the Running Wild podcast. And if you don't, you know what you are.
I'm the last real man, Silas Young. And if you're any kind of man, you'll be listening to the Running Wild podcast.
Hi guys, this is Mandy Leon, and you're listening to the Running Wild podcast.
This is Sam Adonis, El Juro de las Chicas de CMLL, and you are listening to the Running Wild podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Running Wild podcast. I'm your host, Rich. Alongside me, as always, my co-host, Runz.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we got a lot to run down this week. We got Raw got back on track, I thought, overall.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a good episode.
I think the best thing in WWE program that we'll talk about this week is the Mix Max Challenge. Those reveals are getting really fun. But before we get into that, I just want to remind you that we're brought to you in partnership with pwpartners.com, Last Word on ProWrestling.com, and ROHWorld.com. And we're also featured on the Wrestling to the Max network. All right. So what did you think that Raw did right this week that kind of made it a little bit more enjoyable?
They did a lot of things right. You're going to have to go through the show for me to remember what they did correctly, but I remember enjoying it.
So we had Bayley and Sasha defeated Sonya. Matt Hardy defeated Kurt Hawkins. Shocking.
Nope.
I
mean, like, they have to just put Hawkins and Ryder together at some point, right? Like that. There's no,
You would
There's
think
no
so.
other choice.
You would think so, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're just
like next shake-up, it's over, or just really at any point they feel like, because who would even remember?
Dude, Hawkins' gimmick is amazing. He just keeps losing.
Yeah, I mean, like, at least they gave him something, right now. So I'm glad about that, because for someone who was like, I guess he had his fun on the independents, like he did things he wanted to do, but for someone who left when they had nothing for him and tried his hardest to get something, couldn't, to come back and just kind of be in the same role, maybe worse, I don't know, but at least they're giving him something now.
Cheap plug.
Face the facts just didn't work, and so now at least he's got this losing streak.
Yeah, by the way, you guys should definitely go check out our interview with Kurt Hawkins when he was on the Indies, back in our archive. You can find that on SoundCloud or on iTunes.
Yeah, I mean, you got to figure, like, at some point the tides turn, right? Like, don't get me wrong, this could just go on forever with him losing and nothing ever comes of it. But the hope is at least that at some point it's like, oh, well, this gets him back on track and he starts winning. Maybe it's forming a team with Ryder and they win, but, hopefully it's something.
I mean, what I want to know is when the gimmick was created. So after Face the Facts,
whenever it first started, 2 days before,
no,
an hour before.
No, like but the thing is, he probably did legit lose all those times, right? Like I believe that he lost on house shows. Like he hasn't won one match, right? Whatever. So I'm just wondering if it got to like 70 losses and they're like, "Yo, has Kurt Hawkins won a match?" And they're like, "Yo, you know what? I don't think so." Like, at what point did somebody realize that he
It's
has
funny
not
that
won
you
in a long
think they
time?
actually count wins and losses. It's cute.
It really bothers me when I really engage in professional wrestling in a meaningful way because I like what I'm watching, and then you do something like say that those wins and that they're not actually counting those. Next thing you're going to say.
I'm sorry. They have a big chart in the back.
You're saying that Goldberg's
name is listed. Everyone's name is listed, and then they just put, a tally mark in wins and losses.
That's like saying, are you trying to say that Goldberg didn't win all those matches? Can you actually?
No, I'm sure he was 193-0.
I don't know. Well, anyway, I like Kurt Hawkins, but I've been really, I really like that stuff. They had a cruiserweight title match with Cedric defeated Enzo Amore via countout. I'm just going through the matches first, so we just get those out of the way because that's not what we want.
Oh no, yeah, I know.
We're not on the show to talk about matches.
Cedric won, so he gets the rematch right at the Rumble.
I like the way that Enzo. Like, I love the way that he was going to get back in the ring, and then he was just like, "Wait a minute, no."
Yeah, that was fun.
That was pretty good.
And that was perfect for his character. It was perfect to prolong his reign or this feud. So it was good.
Man, by the way, as I keep going with the matches, it's going to be really weird to discuss how Raw was good, but then realize that the matches I wasn't super interested in. Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews defeated the Bar. What?
Yeah, I mean, like this to me was, kind of like what they're doing on SmackDown with Rusev and Aiden English, right? They got wins over real teams to kind of legitimize them, and I'm not opposed to that because you need to do something with these guys. They can't lose forever. Mm-hmm. The Titus brand is a fun gimmick. I don't mind it. It's rather strange and just kind of whoever. So that can get a little frustrating, but it's enjoyable. So I wasn't too upset to see them get the win.
Yeah, no, I mean I wasn't upset either. They don't particularly bother me, but I think every team needs a win at some point. So. Good for them. Then you had Samoa Joe defeated Rhino very quickly, and then and
apparently got injured
immediately. Plantar fasciitis or plantar fasciitis. I don't.
And I mean, I'm not sure they were going this way for Mania, but maybe maybe not even the Rumble, but maybe Mania or sometime in between. He called out John Cena right on Raw. So there had to be a point for that, and now I guess that's kind of out the window. So that's unfortunate for him.
Yeah, no, it's sad to see. I mean, he's been pretty durable,
too,
right? Too.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember hearing. I mean, to be fair, I don't watch TNA.
Plantar fasciitis is such a what the hell can you do about that? Like that's not even your fault.
That's by the way, I was listening to. Bruce Pritchard on Cheap Heat. Not Cheap Heat, I'm sorry. He was on the Masked Man show.
Yeah, whatever.
And he said that, Vince tore his both quads during a Royal Rumble. I think the one that he won, right? So he walked to the back, and the story is that he apparently had actually only tore one quad. And then on his way back, he was like walking on his own backstage. He gets backstage, and he keeps walking on like the good one, trying to avoid walking on the bad one, and then tears that one.
Yeah, I think you told that on one of his podcasts. But yeah, I mean that's just
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And what is this quad tearing? How do you even do that? Like, I guess it's just.
I mean, it's not the first and only time he did it either. He did it when he ran into the ring. You don't remember that? He saw both of them at the same exact time. Couldn't stand up.
You gotta stop working out so much. All right, so I mean, and then you had the last match was the Balor Club. Balor, Gallows, and Anderson defeated Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Jason Jordan, who is, I think, doing a really good job of being annoying.
Yes, I sent you an emoji that I was disappointed you didn't react to at all. But when he comes out now, it's kind of like, Jason Jordan. All right, like it's funny to see him, and he's doing really well in this role. And I continue to say that if this is being done on purpose, then they're doing a great job. But if they're seriously still trying to get him over as a babyface, then they suck. And I really don't know which one it is because you read different things. So I'm enjoying him for what I think and want it to be, which is that he's being a dick and this is all on purpose to lead to something, which you got to believe with all the stuff they're doing with him. So, it's enjoyable on that side. And then the Balor Club is just kind of pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, they're pretty. The whole cease and desist thing, whatever. Them doing it too sweet. I mean, granted, I understand that they were the first ones to do it, but it's still weird to see somebody. For me, because I didn't watch a lot of New Japan, it's weird to see somebody other than the Young Bucks doing it. And I know they didn't do it first, but it's just still weird to see.
It is strange because like, even though they throw it up all the time on WWE TV, doing it to each other is a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, it's strange because it hasn't been seen in a little while. But it is what it is. They're all part of the same crew. So
yeah. Speaking of two sweets, my co-teacher who's not a wrestling fan, and we brought this up last week when we were talking about New Japan. He actually kind of seen an article about the match and about Wrestle Kingdom, and then he saw Kenny Omega wrestling the 9-year-old girl. So he keeps surprising me with this random wrestling stuff. Today, he just randomly, purposely, very loudly says, "Oh, man, well, it's got to be part of the Wolfpack." And I looked, and one of my students looked at me, and we looked, and I didn't say anything because I was like, I don't want to be weird, like. People say Wolfpack, and they're not referring to the NWO Wolfpack. He says it again one more time louder. He's like, "Right, Mr. Lacconi?" And then I'm like, Are you talking about? He's like, "NWO Wolfpack, man." He's like, "Red and black." And I was just like, I'm just loving these random wrestling references. Like, I'm very excited about this. I hope this is a weekly thing that I'll be able to report on the show. And definitely the Wolfpack was the coolest. Listen, I don't care about Bullet Club. I don't care about Balor Club. The coolest guys throw up too sweet were NWO Wolfpack. Come on, Macho, Conan. Oh.
Lex Luger.
All right, Lex Luger was not my favorite part of the group.
He's in the Wolfpack, bro.
He is in the Wolf. Come on, but that was fun fact. Wasn't that that was our original theme?
I'm more of a Stevie Ray Crush.
NWO Black and White
Virgil. That was the Black and White Hollywood, like Horace Hogan. Oh my lord.
Who was? All right, this is way off track, but I'm just trying to remember. It was Hogan, and then who was left in the NWO Black and White that was a threat? Oh wait, Nash stayed, right? Nash stayed.
No, Nash was the Wolfpack.
Nash was, but Hall stayed then. At one point, Hall and Nash were.
And then he went to the Wolfpack. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Actually, my favorite WO, of course, is the LWO.
Yeah, of course.
La
there
Parka.
was every WO. My lord.
Wait, was? I wonder. Would you think El Dandy was in the
Probably
LWO?
was.
All right, we're gonna have to look that up before the end.
I mean, they all were.
I don't. You think that every Hispanic guy in the roster was there?
I think everyone in Mexico was like on the
All right, I get the official list.
Eddie Guerrero,
Yep.
Rey Mysterio,
Yep.
Juventud,
Yep.
Psychosis, La Parca, Who Are You, Dad, El Dandy, Silver King, Villano 5, Hector Garza, Ciclope, and
Cyclope.
Damien.
Cyclope is the best.
Yeah. Oh man, WCW, you were so much fun.
Although I really liked Silver King too for some strange reason. Oh man, super exciting. All right, I guess back to current product.
I mean, like, it's amazing that of all of them, because of Who Are You to Dad El Dandy, El Dandy is just, you know what I mean? Like, you'll never forget that guy. You'll never doubt him either.
But it's just so great also that Bret Hart, a wrestling legend, like they didn't know what to do with him, so they're like, yo, just talk about how this upcoming match you're having with El Dandy. How do you... All right, I can't. I could talk about El Dandy for another 25 minutes, and we probably shouldn't. Yeah, so, I mean, overall, I thought Raw was more enjoyable this week. Again,
I'm not quite sure you could talk about El Dandy for 25 minutes.
You don't think I could talk about El Dandy for 25 minutes?
I would like to see that for a separate podcast without looking up anything. I don't think you could do it. But
I would have to do research. I don't think.
No. Oh, right, exactly. Right now, you couldn't do it.
Oh, right now, no. I mean, right now, I could. Okay. I could still go on
Thank
about.
God. Because if you knew 25 minutes of El Dandy now,
like, I'm not sure what dandy means in Spanish, so I don't know if it's an L, like the beginning in Spanish, and then dandy is English, or because they say it with an accent, but it's El Dandy. But I'm just not sure. There's so many questions here that I want answered. All right.
He's a CMLL legend.
Next week, I'm going to definitely do some more research, so we'll know about this. Maybe El Dandy shows up at 205 Live when we get to go.
Not so sure.
Probably not. All right. So the cool thing about Raw, though, I mean, the thing I really like, and it's funny because it has nothing to do with Raw, is the Mixed Match Challenge.
There was other stuff on Raw. I think that was good. I don't know. Like, maybe you're not. I don't know. Maybe there were some segments. I can't remember.
Elias, Miz came back, or Miz was there.
Miz was good.
Anderson, of course, mentions his hot Asian wife, which is, I really just.
Braun pulling down the lighting fixture. With
the
that's
right.
Hook.
What is
that was pretty sick. Some people at work were like, "Yeah, how many times do you think it took him to throw that thing up there?" And I immediately was like, "One." He's like that.
Hold on.
Okay. First of all, I said, "Well, that was fake because it was tape," but it would probably take him one try.
So, hold on. Are we to believe that was this all planned, or was this like a spur of the moment thing?
No, he just found the grapple hook, and because there's just grapple hooks all over the place, right?
I don't think I've ever seen in person a grappling hook.
Correct, and there's never ever one time ever been a grapple hook at a wrestling show. So
maybe that's how they put the lights up.
It's never been in a garbage can. It's never been in the dumpster. It's never been backstage, like in Raven's shopping cart. No, never. So, convenient, but still enjoyable nonetheless.
Considering the amount of times that Vince McMahon's been arrested, Stone Cold was taken away by the cops, I would just like one time for Braun to commit one of these acts of obvious, like, homicide or attempted homicide, and the cops just show up and they're like, "Yo, dude, you can't do that," and they just take him away.
They refuse to press charges, bro.
Oh, because they want to get him back. All right. I'm just glad to have him back.
I just hate that Kane is around. Like, it puts a damper on the whole thing. Like, I get it. Maybe he'll probably be the one to get pinned and go away, but it's just I don't want to see him. Like, it was last week, right, where he was in the main event, like he took out Brock. Like, come on. I don't want to see Kane standing tall to end Monday Night Raw.
No, I just wonder why why have? I mean, I don't know. I guess it's
Yeah,
better.
like literally, why? This guy's running for the mayor. You had to call him and say like, "Yo, come back and be Kane. Get one last run in, your brother." I don't know.
Oh, I forgot. We did have. Speaking of that match, Heyman coming out and cutting a promo, which I don't know. It was good, but I'm kind of getting to the point where I think it just seems like it feels like the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, every big pay-per-view, it's, this is not a spoiler, Brock's going to win, and, that's fine, because I guess, like, that's kind of the point. Like, he doesn't need to say anything else, Brock says it, but, yeah, I'm with you, I enjoy Brock, I love Heyman, but, not that it's gotten stale, but that element of it has gotten a little bit stale, just the whole introduction every single time, but people love it, so I can't necessarily be too upset.
I wonder how much merch money they make over those Suplex City, and then whatever city they're in.
I really wonder, because they got to print them up every time they go to a new city, right?
How many people buy them? Like I wasn't hyped when I saw it. I know, but like I wasn't.
Yeah, but like the guy at work, like he bought a Suplex City New York one, like just randomly.
Wait, is it New York? Because imagine like they had like a Manhattan.
Well, like when they
Brooklyn.
Yeah, well when they were in Barclays, they had Brooklyn, because that's where they were.
I wish they would.
Yeah.
You think they'll have a Suplex City Poughkeepsie one where we're going to go see 205 Live?
Maybe they'll have like 205 Live Poughkeepsie. I don't think they'll have.
I'm kind of excited to see what weird. By the way, if we get there and all the merch is just like main roster dudes, I'm gonna be really pissed off. Like it has to be 205 Live
I don't
guys,
even know
right?
if they have do they have Akira Tozawa merchandise like that?
You know what would be money? I would buy. What's his name? A Jack Gallagher vest.
Umbrella.
No, a vest. I want one of his vests, and I want like it to be like a special Jack Gallagher one, and I'll wear it to work because I wear vests all the time anyway.
It's got to be like indie similar, right? Like this.
I could probably find it
to this show.
I mean, it's got to be indie, yeah. I might go dressed as I'm going to work, but really just be supporting Jack Gallagher and dress as him. I'm gonna do a Jack Gallagher cosplay. I think it'll be really easy.
Maybe you'll see if Stat Wife wants to go.
I don't know if Stat Wife really wants me to take her to a wrestling event and cosplay.
Is 205 Live a wrestling event? I wasn't sure.
I mean,
just kidding.
I'm trying to put it together. Like, no, Comic-Con's enough, man.
All right,
I don't think I can compare it to it.
Anyway, we're not doing this.
Hey, listen, this is more entertaining than most of Raw, so.
No, Raw was good.
What did you think of? So overall, I thought it was okay. It still doesn't get me super excited about the title match, but the mixed match challenge teams, we have some. I have a list over here of who's been announced so far. It's been updated.
They have the matches up too. They have the bracket. So week 1, you have Finn Balor and Sasha Banks against Nakamura and Natalya.
Wow.
Nakamura and Natalya. That one is pretty obvious that Balor and Banks win. Probably throwing up too sweet.
Do you think they both come out in like matching gear?
She'll probably wear a Balor Club shirt.
Okay.
Week 2, we have The Miz and Asuka against Big E and Carmella.
Miz and Asuka versus Big E and Carmella. Wow.
I mean, clearly Miz and Asuka are going to beat Big E and Carmella, no?
I think they're going to go pretty far.
Yeah, I think they're one of the favorites to win this. We'll just go through a whole tournament here. Braun and Alexa against Sammy and Becky, which, I mean, clearly just the redheads. That's hilarious.
I hope they. I just feel like Braun's in
yeah, Braun and Alexa. I mean, they're gonna win this one, right? Like Sammy's been a heel. He hasn't need to win this.
Yeah, Sammy's gonna get crushed.
Yeah. Goldust and Alicia Fox, which is just outrageous against...
Wait, did you say Goldust and Alicia Fox?
Yes, that is the next match team. Against the Uso and Naomi.
Okay.
I'm going to say the Uso and Naomi get the win here.
Yeah.
Which...
They're going to push, I mean, I think that some of the teams, just like Total Diva teams, will go further.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Elias and Bailey, which was supposed to be Samoa Joe and Bailey versus Rusev and Lana. I'm gonna say Rusev and Lana win here, just
Total Divas team.
Married, and I mean Elias and Bailey are gonna have some issues, I would assume.
Yeah.
Then you have Apollo and Nia against Bobby Roode and Charlotte Flair, which I mean.
Did you see that they traded robes for a picture?
Yeah, I mean that's just a brilliant team.
I'm gonna be upset when they lose because they just look like with those robes. It's just fantastic.
All right, so I mean, let's just go by week 1, week 2, right? So we'll say Finn Balor and Sasha win week 1, right?
Definitely.
So they would face The Miz and Asuka in week, right? Because they fought week 2. So let's just say. If that happens, I would say The Miz and Asuka get that win.
Yeah, I think the first round matches are pretty. They're pretty easy to call. No, I mean I don't think there's any debate. Like, are there any of those matches that you think there's a debate on who will win? Like the first week
for the first round?
Yeah, for the first round. I meant
not necessarily.
Because
that's why week 2 it would be Balor and Banks versus Miz and Asuka. That's what I was saying.
Balor and Banks, Miz and Asuka. I mean, I don't think Asuka loses.
Nope, I agree. Miz and Asuka win that one. If we go by week 3 and 4, we would have Braun and Alexa, who won that one, against the Uso and Naomi. I'm gonna say Braun and Alexa again.
Yeah.
And then week 5 and 6, we would have Rusev and Lana against Roode and Charlotte, who I clearly will say Roode and Charlotte.
Yeah.
Now this is interesting because now we'll have 3 teams, so I guess they can do a triple threat thing.
No, they're doing a second chance fan vote.
Okay, all right. So whoever, but I'm gonna say it comes down to Miz and Asuka against Roode and Flair. And I'll go with Roode and Flair with the win. Yeah, Roode and Flair with the win. Obviously, Roode pinning Miz.
I don't know. I mean, Roode. So my favorite, right, and not because of booking wise or whatever. I just want Roode and Flair because of I love the robe look.
Yeah.
But I could easily see Miz and Asuka taking the whole thing too.
If that's the finals, I wouldn't care. And, I don't have Facebook, so I'm not really sure if and how I could watch this. But, I'll try. Because I think this would be pretty fun. It seems like they're having fun with it.
But why do it on Facebook?
Because it's going to make them money. And it's an experiment.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair.
Yeah, we'll be... If possible, that Raw ends up on Facebook. You know what I mean? At some point, it's kind of a crazy world right now.
Yeah. Well, so with that out of the way, we had SmackDown, which I didn't really like this week's SmackDown that much. You had Becky.
No, I thought it was just kind of more of the same.
Yeah. Becky Lynch defeated Ruby Riott. Which is a pretty good match. Really just setting up. I know Becky just came back, so it's weird. But Ruby lost and then kind of said, well, you may have beaten me, but you won't beat the Riott Squad. Which is a little weird. I don't know. It just seems really quick. I couldn't beat you, but now, you'll definitely lose to my group.
Yeah, they do dumb things sometimes.
Bludgeon Brothers beat the Ascension 45 seconds. It's
Yeah,
kind of ridiculous.
there's no point.
U.S. title tournament, no surprise here. Mojo Rawley defeated Zack Ryder in a pretty quick match. I thought they would give us a little bit more time since it's for the tournament and these two guys have a history.
Yeah, but I mean, Mojo should have killed him.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I think it's like, I mean, clearly it's Jinder and Rude, right, in the finals. Like, it's Mojo and who's the other one?
I mean, I'm slightly holding out hope that Xavier Woods still.
Yeah, imagine it's Mojo against Xavier Woods. Like, I don't know.
I mean, Xavier Woods winning would be amazing, but I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, I think
that would be really cool, but I agree with you.
Jinder's going to win.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense. But, you know, they like to give the tournament to the babyface, so who knows?
True.
But Jinder versus Rude would be a cool little feud and whatever over the U.S. title for now.
Yeah, no, definitely. That I think Jinder wins and then Rude chases.
But see, the thing is, if Jinder wins, then we're just getting the anti-America and India, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, that's the same stuff that he was doing when he was the world champion. And I don't know if anyone really wants to see that anymore. Or just, keep that going. So I don't know how they get away from that if he's the U.S. champ, you know?
True. I guess it doesn't bother me as much. Maybe I don't know. Hopefully they do it maybe in just a different way somehow that's more compelling. I don't have that way right now, but at the same time, I'm fine with a foreign heel having the title and being obnoxious about how he's got the title. I don't.
But he just had it. Like, that's my only...
Yeah, but this is an insult against America. He's got the U.S. title.
Nah.
I'm the champion of the United States.
Yeah.
All right. What did you think about the interview segment with AJ Styles? I thought there was like with Renee in the ring. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I like those kind of sit down things. Renee is always awesome. And
yeah. It
was good to see AJ in that role and show some passion and that sort of thing. So it was good. The Shane and Daniel Bryan stuff was solid too, but I don't know where it's going, and that leaves me not optimistic. I don't want to see Daniel Bryan wrestle if there's really any chance of him, coming out not healthy and not good for the future and raising his kid and all that stuff. So I don't know that I would want to see him wrestle Shane. We had a tag match. We had a Survivor Series match with Shane and Bryan and Zayn involved, and Owens and Zayn involved. So I don't know where do we go from here. It's almost WrestleMania. Like, it's going to be Owens and Shane at WrestleMania again. Like, what the hell are we going to do?
Yeah, with Bryan presumably not able to wrestle, I don't really see where this payoff is going. And it feels like AJ's kind of getting lost in the mix a little bit here.
Yeah, which is why I thought the sit down was a very good idea, because it gave him the spotlight away from that.
True,
a little bit at least.
What did you think about? Speaking of Bryan, he ended up booking a 2 out of 3 falls match for Gable and Benjamin versus the Usos. I feel like Gable and Benjamin were a little heelish here.
Yeah, for sure, and I don't want to see like a double turn here because the Usos are awesome in this role and as heels and being angry and vicious. So I'm hoping they don't get switched in this whole thing, and it's just about Gable and Benjamin. Maybe they lose and then they flip out and just cry about it on SmackDown, and that gets people tied at them. So I'd rather see something like that rather than a double turn. But it makes sense, the match, considering the result they had.
I would like to point out that isn't it amazing that Shelton Benjamin just slid into this role, and it's like,
right, like it's dead. Like they never, people never had a reaction for it. It's like, oh, Chad Gable lost Jason Jordan. Now here's Shelton Benjamin back as his partner. They don't have a team name. They come out just walking around. There's no more Ready, Willing, and Gable. It's nobody reacts at all. I guess they wanted to switch it up, but yeah, not the best. He should have had a heel turn will help, but yeah,
he should have had Ready, Willing, and Gable literally forever.
Yeah, I guess he's not Ready, Willing anymore.
Fashion Police beat Rusev and New Day. Rusev Day, sorry.
Yeah.
I like the Fashion Police, but I don't want to see them. I don't know. It's weird. I don't want to see them. I don't want to see them win against Rusev Day.
No.
And then the main event ended up being Shane basically set up a handicap match with Styles, Orton, and Nakamura versus Owens and Zayn. Instead of just being what I liked about this was how they kept trying to leave, and then he kept coming out and switching the match. I liked it when he did for the count out because that's like classic stuff. I didn't like the when he came back out after the DQ, but I should have seen it coming.
Yeah, clearly.
I don't know for some reason why I didn't see that part coming. And then the only thing that makes... I know that they're going to have the handicap match, but isn't it weird to put the heels in a handicap match? Like on this show, like the way they did it here.
Oh,
so,
like...
the odds are against them. Like,
right.
You kind of want to root for them.
Right. It makes no sense that way. However, it's like their comeuppance. Okay, you may have got one over on me last week, but now here, I'm going to make you do this. So, it is what it is. It's just like, a 3-on-2 handicap main event. Like, why do I care?
Ugh. It's almost like a Teddy Long special, but even less interesting.
Right, and the fact that he kept coming back out, and what an adjustment, perfect.
Hold
on a second, players.
Yeah.
Whoa. Slow your roll, players. You thought this one was over? I got some news for you.
The guy, this reviewer, Larry Sanka, over at 401 Mania, one of my favorite things is that whenever an impromptu tag match is announced, he has a graphic of Teddy Long from one of the wrestling games, and it says match type, and then it just has like tag team, 1-on-1 against the Undertaker. Like it's just the other option, and it's just
holla.
Would you? No, just random question. Did you like it better when SmackDown was Fridays?
Nah, it doesn't really affect me.
Like, were you more or less interested in SmackDown? Like, are you more interested that it's live and on Tuesdays, or would you rather it go back to being Fridays?
No, I'd rather it live because it matters. I watch it. Fridays, nobody watches.
I'm trying to think. Yeah,
after Raw, I want to watch SmackDown.
Okay. See, I don't know if I'd like a break.
You have a break from Tuesday to Monday or Sunday.
All right. I'm saying, well, but when you have like a pay-per-view every weekend, you got NXT TakeOver, then you have the
When's
pay-per-view.
The last time you watched NXT?
I watched it. I watched 205 Live this week, so I think that was my extra hour.
No.
just watching a lot of Lucha.
So still Tuesday.
All right, fair. So I guess we'll see what happens with this going forward. I'm unsure what they're going to do with it, but it's got my attention.
Right. It's enjoyable, without thinking about where it goes in the long term. So I'm sure they're going somewhere. I'm sure they have something in mind. And we'll find out soon enough.
Did you get a chance to see Ring of Honor this week?
Yeah.
All right, cool. No, it was the kickoff. So what I liked about it, Castle came out and did his usual kind of, the celebration they do when someone wins a title. So I like that. Shockingly, he was interrupted. Lethal came out and basically congratulated him, and then also said, "I'm the first one who wants to challenge you." Even they had a backstage interview where Taven said that he wants to get a shot, and then Punishment Martinez had won Survival of the Fittest. So at the end of Castle's segment, after Lethal had left, Martinez came out and gave him the South of Heaven chokeslam. So made it clear they already announced that Martinez is actually going to get the title shot when they're doing the TV tapings on January 20th. So that just kind of like last year or the year before or whatever. Yeah, the November before, Bobby Fish won it, and then he challenged at Manhattan Mayhem. So, November to March. He ended up challenging Adam Cole at Manhattan Mayhem. I just don't, why would you put, and, we're going to have to see how it plays out, but why would you put the title match on TV? Doesn't it automatically make you feel...
I think that's a good thing that they're going to put it on TV, and, maybe the title doesn't change hands now, but, maybe there is a point down the road where they do a big title switch on TV or something like that. But, yes, it being on TV, most educated fans, which are probably most of Ring of Honor fans, are going to assume, or because of spoilers already know, that he doesn't win the title. But, it's not a bad thing to have a title match on your weekly show.
Oh, I have no problem with them having a title match. My only issue is you build 3 nights, because this year Survival of the Fittest wasn't just 2 nights, it was 3 nights. You make a 3-night tournament, or a tournament play over 3 nights. You make it a big deal that this guy wins, and then the title shot that he gets is on TV. To me is like, well, you held a 3-night show so the guy could lose on TV?
So they didn't hold a pay-per-view, right? It wasn't an iPay-per-view. It wasn't a pay-per-view.
It was a VOD.
It was just on demand.
It was VOD,
correct.
Yeah.
So who the hell really watches or knows? It's not like it was a pay-per-view to build to a pay-per-view. It was a house show to build to TV.
See, I never... that's a really good point.
And, I think there was a little... not that the Bobby Fish was like a different era, but it was a slightly different time that maybe they were going through. And
well, yeah, Kyle had just left, so it made sense. Huh. All right. And by the way, who watches all those VODs? I do. And you can check out my coverage over at pwpondings.com and rhworld.com. But yeah, I guess I'm so... Because I do the coverage, honestly, I think sometimes I tend to forget. Survival of the Fittest to me is a big show.
Right,
but that's because I watch everything.
And back when we first started watching and going to Ring of Honor, and I've said this a bunch of times, but like the Death Before Dishonor and Glory by Honor and a bunch of these other shows were big pay-per-views and huge deals, and a lot of the times now they're not even pay-per-views. They're just video on demands or things like that. So that's a little strange to me that, what I looked at as like their Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, their big 4, now they don't really have that. So, yeah, I would love to watch a Survival of the Fittest, even if they only air the last night. They air the semis and the finals, whatever. That would be enjoyable. But I think the issue is that, it doesn't really mean anything. Like, yeah, they get the title shot, but have they ever won like on the title shot? So I
Yeah.
think that they tend to give that to someone who's not the main guy.
Mm-hmm.
So
That makes sense. And then, so you had those two guys. They're going to challenge. Taven's going to challenge at some point, it seems. And then Marty Scurll. So they did something that I really like. During Scurll's entrance, they did like the old school WWF Superstars kind of split screen. Not split screen, but the boxes. And he was cutting a promo in the box as he was coming to the ring, which I thought was a really great use. I mean, he's got a long entrance, so it's like instead of just playing it and then going to his entrance, I kind of like how they overlaid that. And he's going back to being a little bit more serious because I think he's been doing a lot of comedy stuff with the Bullet Club. And he basically says like, "Hey, I didn't know that you could just get a title shot if you just walk up to the champion and you're like, hey, I want a shot." So he's like, "Hey, I've never gotten a title shot. I want one." And then he had a really good match. He ended up fighting Flip Gordon in the main event. I'm just really liking Gordon's work, and of course, I like Marty's work. So together, this was a really good match. And he has a new finisher, which is pretty cool. It's it's blatantly Adam Cole's last shot, but he just calls it the Ghostbuster. It's the suplex into the knee breaker, or the neck breaker over the knee. So I like that he has got another move in his repertoire. It's other than just the chicken wing, because that was kind of getting. I like it, but it was to the point where now, if he's going to be a little bit more of a sinister heel, I think he needs something a little bit more quicker and impactful.
Right, you need something else. You can't make everyone tap out all the time, and it's not the easiest thing to set up and get.
100%. I thought Ring of Honor definitely worth checking out, and if you're, they line up their year with our calendar year essentially. So even if you kind of missed Final Battle and you haven't really been following Ring of Honor, you can easily jump in by watching this episode and kind of get an idea for what they're doing going forward. The Briscoes called out the Motor City Machine Guns for a tag team title shot. Basically said no one's on their level, and it just made me think of a dream match right now, because I would love to see the Usos versus the Briscoes, because they both have like that similar nasty attitude right now, and I think it would just be amazing. Obviously, we're not going to get that.
I forget. I was watching one of the episodes of Best Friends, and somebody was, I think it was Excalibur, was saying like how he created the Jay Driller, and someone mentioned Jay Briscoe, blah blah, and he was like, and Chuck Taylor was like, "You want to talk shit about Jay Briscoe? Come on, go ahead, yeah, go ahead." Like, and you could just tell, like, that it was like a, don't fuck with that guy kind of a thing.
See, I've been telling you, man. Guy is for real. It's very believable. All right. So, and did you get a chance to catch the CML? I can't. Well, I will say, I know you didn't watch CMLL this week, but Sam Adonis got his head shaved. He came out this week. I sent you the picture. Pulling like the Kurt Angle type with the headgear that was keeping his his blonde wig on that was longer, like it's down in the middle of his back, so it's about 5 times longer than his actual hair before he got it cut. And of course, I think one of my favorite things about someone happened to Vince. I can remember it happening to Kurt Angle, and happening here when a guy loses, and the first reaction the next time he comes out is, I'm just going to make believe that this didn't happen and cover it somehow, and then it gets exposed. I know it's simple, but I just think it was hilarious. And he's trying to cover his head so nobody sees that he's bald. It's good stuff, man.
Yeah, good old Kurt Angle, right? He did the same.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I know you're not really into it, but I've been enjoying that. But I have been enjoying something that you are into, and that's Lucha Underground. And Lucha Underground, so far I'm in the middle of season 2, so I'll update you guys hopefully next week as I get through all of it. Lucha Underground has done something that I didn't think would happen. I like Rey Mysterio again.
I I agree with you because this is like his environment. You know, like everyone has a mask. He's you always knew that he was like the Mexican legend. You know, like he was the big star to make it in WWE. You know, obviously Eddie Guerrero, but unfortunately he's not around. But you know, so it's cool to watch him there, and he's still Rey Mysterio, so that's fun to watch.
It's crazy because one of the reasons I think I put down Lucha Underground at first or didn't get into it was I watched like a couple episodes and Katrina pulls out a rock and then these three guys just appear from behind her and I'm like, what? And I put on one episode and Vampiro's got someone like tied to her. He's coming out of a mental institution and Matt Stryker picks him up in the middle of a desert and the car is randomly covered. So how did Matt Stryker get there? It's just so I kept seeing that stuff, but seeing it all together, I'm actually embracing how I like how over the top it is and how they embrace that. You know, they're just like, screw it, man. Like, you know, we're just going to completely go crazy with this and go overboard. And
you know, I think the announcers for me do a great job of selling the Mexican culture and how this kind of stuff happens in lucha and all of that sort of thing. The crowd is awesome. I love like the cutscenes and when they have that stuff with all the video editing and like, yeah, it's not WWE, it's not New Japan, it's something totally of its own, and you're watching a wrestling show, literally, you know, and it's a lot of fun. The guys on the roster, and you're in season 2, so you're getting there. But by season 3, and you know even in season 2, the roster is loaded. So it's a lot of fun.
The best was Statwife randomly walked in while I was watching an episode where I think it was the first episode that Mysterio was on, and he was off camera, and you just heard him talking. You know, and
okay.
I immediately recognize his voice. You know, I think he's talking to like Dragon Azteca or maybe it was Puma. I can't remember. And you just hear, okay, man. So you know, and I'm just like, wait a minute. And I looked at her and I went, do you know whose voice that is? And you would be. I mean, she goes, how am I going to know whose voice that? Oh, Rey Mysterio. Like it was pretty insane.
Once she actually heard it.
I mean, she said that it was a little bit of an educated guess. But, you know, to be fair, she doesn't know most of those people out there, so it was crazy just no, but come on, Dominic. No, don't go with Eddie.
That was just terrible.
All right.
But like, did you is Killshot around?
Yeah, Shane Strickland.
Right, so I was gonna say, Shane
sorry
Strickland,
guys, spoilers.
It's like, and you know, Jeff Cobb and Ricochet and Morrison, like it's a lot of fun. You know, more so Cobb, Ricochet, and Strickland, to watch those guys in a completely different character and role, and you know, with a mask on and in this whole new identity, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's
allegedly.
Man, the tour of the islands, that reverse power slam, that I don't even know what to call it.
Sorry, who does that?
Matanza.
Oh no, the what is it? Wrath of the Gods.
Oh, Wrath of the Gods. You know, that is. Every time I see that move, I don't understand how it works. Like it just doesn't. It's so crazy.
I think it might be in season 3, but he does it to the little white guy, the little white wrestler. Mascarada Sagrada, maybe?
Mascarita Sagrada, yeah.
He does it to him, and he goes around like 10 times. It's,
what?
It's amazing.
Okay, I haven't gotten there yet. I am very excited for this. But if you haven't checked that out, the first 2 seasons, and I don't get paid to do this, but the first 2 seasons are on Netflix. And if you had any trepidation about it before, because part of it for me was, I wasn't going to pay for it on iTunes, and I didn't have the El Rey network, so part of it, you know, when something new starts and everybody's into it, and you can't see it at the same time they are, it's a little harder for me to get into it. So I never did, but it was freezing here in New York, and I got into it, and boy, am I really happy that I did.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I'm glad you did. I am someone who I paid for the first season on iTunes before, way before Netflix, because I wanted to watch it and see what it was all about. And then recently I paid for season 3 because I hadn't seen any of it, and having 40 episodes to watch is a cool thing. So it was definitely enjoyable. I love season 3. I thought that was one of the best, whatever the hell, Ultima Luchas. So
yeah.
I'm anticipating again. There 2 was great too, but season 3 was pretty awesome. It's unfortunate in season 3 because Sexy Star is still like a main thing, and that's annoying. But whatever.
I do enjoy, by the way, Stat Wife going, "Oh, that's Jim Morrison, right?"
Yes, it is.
It just makes when she says Jim Morrison, I just get. Or I when Puma came out, I was like, "Hey, look, it's that's Ricochet. We saw him. We were literally when you hurt your ankle, we were sitting front row, and Ricochet was right in front of us, and walked right by us, and she's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then I showed him the picture. She goes, oh yeah, that guy, he's great. So it's kind of cool that it's so weird to realize that I have poisoned her so much that now she can almost recognize like people that it's kind of absurd that I think that she knows.
Yeah, it's terrible. And speaking of Lucha Underground and guys like Morrison, just a little Impact updates. Brian Cage is supposedly going to start working at these tapings. They almost had a deal with Rey Mysterio, but that didn't work out. But major spoiler or news, Austin Aries came back last night's tapings and won the TNA title from Eli Drake, which is pretty cool. And I've enjoyed Impact lately, so it's not something that will like make me more of a fan, but it'll definitely make me watch for the next couple of months for sure.
Yeah, it's not gonna do that for me, but I'm happy to hear.
Aries,
No, yeah. I think I need to know, and you'll obviously be able to tell me, there's stability for a couple of months, and then I'll tune in.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're on a track now with getting rid of everyone who was there before, pretty much, and starting clean with the guys that mattered or the guys they wanted to keep around, and now adding a whole bunch of new guys. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, and I think we covered. Last. I mean, I guess last bit of news is the All In event, which is it's going to be the show that is being run by basically the Bullet Club US, or it's Omega, the Young Bucks, Cody, and Hangman Page are all going to have been announced. So is Stephen Amell. But have you gotten a chance to go on Twitter? Because people took the graphic of All In, and it just says All In, and that's like a gray background, and then they have the wrestler on the right. These people on Twitter have just been going nuts creating fake All-Ins. So I believe I told you that Alex Riley was going to be there. I believe that was fake. Literally.
Which would make sense.
Because I was like, wait a minute. Why is Alex Riley there? And literally the internet's been going insane. I think if you search the hashtag All In, you'll see it. It's
everyone.
It's so good. Like someone put Darby Allin because the way he spells his name.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's unbelievable. If you have some time to kill, I would go on and just take a look at it, because they have. I mean, people have been making fake cards like Bryan Danielson versus Ibushi, Marty Scurll versus Neville, Omega versus Punk, Jericho, Mysterio, and Liger versus Young Bucks and Cody.
Jesus.
I mean, the crazy amount of stuff is just Repo Man. I mean, you really just need to go check it out. It's really good.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see who they get on this show, right? Because they can't just have like the normal indie guys or like a PWG-ish type of show. They got to have some type of like huge thing going on, right? So I don't know.
You know, the crazy thing is that they're running it September 1st, and you wonder, is that not affecting PWG Bola? Because that's usually when they run it.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see when they do it. Maybe it'll be later on this year. I don't know.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. So we'll see. They're going to announce the location on an episode of being the next episode of Being the Elite, or one going forward. So, by the way, Stat Wife already said, so you're going, right? And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, I mean, you're going to go there. Do you think they can fill 10,000 seats? And I was like, I think so.
Sure.
So, you know, we might, if it's anywhere kind of decently close, let's pack
It's
our
gonna be in
bags.
Chicago.
You think so?
Yeah.
Damn it. Maybe we can go to Chicago. We'll see. All right. Well, I think we covered everything this week.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So, just a reminder, you guys can follow us on Twitter at Running Wild LWOS. You guys can follow us on Facebook at Running Wild on Wrestling. Send us an email at runningwildpodcast@gmail.com. And make sure you rate, review, and subscribe. We're on iTunes, SoundCloud, and everywhere else you guys get your podcasts. Until next week, I just want to remind you that you've been listening to the podcast that is just too sweet.
For Rich and Runz, this is the host of Ring of Honor Wrestling, Ian Riccaboni, signing off. Be sure to join them next week for another episode of the Running Wild Podcast.